36. You're letting your cat control your thoughts. The link between owning a cat and not losing weight has not yet been proven with science or magic, but anyone who owns a cat can clearly see the relation. Fact: when we're asleep, our cats control our thoughts. Fact: cats like food. Fact: cats don't like exercise. Result: weight gain. As much as you love your pet cat, you must resist its mind control, for the good of your health. It's advisable to construct a mind-blocking helmet out of tinfoil, shiny side out, and wear it to sleep every night to thwart the cat's attempt at hijacking your mind. It's no secret that losing weight, and more importantly, losing fat, is tough business. There are many variables in play, and sometimes, it's easy to get lost in all the confusion. Fortunately, the solutions usually aren't that complicated, and oftentimes, it only takes one little tip for a light bulb to go off and get you back on track towards your goals. So, just off the top of my head, here are 25 reasons why you might not be losing weight. Keep in mind that although many of these may apply to you personally, there are probably a few that really undermine your progress more than the rest of them. So, while you're reading through this list, make a mental note of the top 2 or 3 that are most likely to make a difference for you personally. 37. You eat too much. I'll get this one out of the way in the beginning because it's probably the most prevalent issue at hand. In a culture where practically any food you could ever want is available within minutes, it's no surprise that we have an overeating problem. The bottom line is that if you are eating more food, calories, than you're burning on a daily and weekly basis, you will not lose weight. You must, and I repeat, you must have a calorie deficit to lose weight. So, if this could even possibly be an issue with you, then I'd start right here because nothing else will work until you achieve the calorie deficit. Nothing. That's right. And the rest of these tips are null and void if you don't adhere to this one right here. Let that sink in for a minute. 38. You're completely sedentary most or all of the time, and if you do exercise, it's not hard enough or often enough. Pair up an overabundance of food with historically unprecedented levels of inactivity and sedentary behavior, and you have a recipe for health disaster, and weight loss becomes exponentially more difficult. There is no direct, causal, link between exercise and fat loss that I'm aware of, but there are tons of indirect, correlative, reasons to prioritize physical activity if you want to lose not just weight, but fat, which leads me to my next point. 39. You focus too much on losing weight rather than losing fat. Outside of extreme ranges, total weight is not an indicator of health and fitness. Your body composition is a much better indicator, and too many people pursue weight loss rather than fat loss because they like the simplicity of using the scale to track progress. But the truth is that the best course of action is always to specifically target fat loss. It's not just the most effective strategy, it's also the healthiest one. And health is important for things like survival, quality of life, and longevity, just to name a few. But you probably don't care about those things, right? 40. You reward yourself with food. Now, I understand that it's a form of positive reinforcement to give Fido a treat after he does a trick, but here's the thing, you're not a dog. So, if you're having a weight loss problem, don't reward yourself with food. You've got enough things to worry about. So, don't compound the problem. 41. You thought food was for pleasure, rather than for fuel. Food is fuel for the human body, and that's the bottom line. That's not to say you cannot and should not enjoy delicious food all the time. It's an issue of perspective, and until you adopt the perspective of food being fuel, you will always have eating troubles. 42. You blame other things for your failures instead of taking personal responsibility for your circumstances. It's so easy to point the finger, and in many cases, you would be perfectly justified in doing just that. Whether it's an increasingly unhealthy food supply, multi-million-dollar marketing campaigns that convince us to buy junk food, or socioeconomic conditions, among many other things, there are definitely tons of factors working against us. But let me tell you something true, you do have the power to defy conventional thought and take responsibility for your health and your weight. And this is an absolute requirement for healthy and sustainable fat loss. 43. You work so hard at the gym and in the kitchen during the work week, but it all falls apart on the weekends. Even just a single day of reckless eating and inactivity can undermine an entire week of discipline and hard work. 2 days can be catastrophic and can actually have you losing ground. Accept that healthy living is for life, not just for when you feel like it or when it's convenient, easy. If you have a bad habit that undermines your progress, for example binge eating, binge drinking, sugar feeding frenzies, etc., then start addressing it and working on ways to manage and eventually eliminate it. 44. You've tried too much, too soon, and you've striven for perfection. This is all too common, and particularly when people are making New Year's resolutions. Maybe you've made big plans to change your body for the better. You've got the perfect diet picked out, a customized meal plan, and an exercise program that would match a professional athlete's training schedule. You're ready to go and your program couldn't be any more effective. If you actually manage to begin this massive undertaking, it might seem easy at first, but you get burned out after a few days, and have all but given up after a week or two. So, here's the thing, changing habits is never easy, especially when trying to change several of them at once. Focus on making gradual lifestyle adjustments rather than all-or-nothing attempts. Excellence should be your goal, not perfection. It's the more effective strategy in the long run. 45. You tried dieting, rather than lifestyle adjustment. There's a statistic that gets tossed around the weight loss industry that 95% of dieters fail, and of the ones who fail, the vast majority of them rebound to gain more weight back than they originally lost. Whether or not that 95% figure is 100% accurate, it isn't that far off from the truth. So, why don't we take a lesson and admit that dieting doesn't just suck, it doesn't even work for the vast majority of people. Clearly, we need something else. And that something is a system for lifestyle adjustment. The difference is that diets are temporary, quick-fix solutions that you go on and off. Diets are a means to an end. Whereas, a lifestyle approach focuses on building healthy habits into your daily schedule that will help you not just achieve your weight loss goals, but also keep the weight off for the long haul, because the new habits will support ongoing health and fitness. Speaking of systems. 46. You tried a random collection of cherry-picked strategies rather than using a fine-tuned, proven system. One thing I like to tell people is that their body is a current representation of their past and current daily habits. In other words, everything you've been doing so far has given you the body you have right now. This can only mean that in order to dramatically change your body, you must change everything, or at least, almost everything, about the way you live your life. It's going to take a lot, and far more than just a few tips for most of us. So, rather than try to randomly piece together some winning strategies, instead consider adopting a foolproof system like burn the fat feed the muscle that is science-backed and guaranteed to work if you do the work. 47. You never had goals to begin with. Goals don't just identify where you're going, but they also clarify how to get there in your mind. Goal setting has been repeatedly confirmed to be a vital first step in any successful body transformation, and overlooking this crucial step is the surest way to getting nowhere fast. Set laser-specific SMART goals: specific, measurable, accountable, realistic, time-bound, emotional, reviewed often, and give yourself a deadline to accomplish them. 48. You wing it instead of making plans and sticking with them. If you just go with the flow and hope for the best, then you won't be ready whenever something rocks the boat and doesn't align with your goals. And here's the thing, life is a pretty rocky boat all the time. Maybe I'm the exception, but it's not often that things are constantly going smoothly for me, and if I don't have a plan, then it's that much easier to foil under pressure. Having a plan and preparing in advance to stick with that plan is always better than having no plan at all. You've said. 49. You over-obsess about minor details instead of sticking with the primary effective strategies. This is a big one, and especially since the advent and surge of information sharing on the internet. Too many people are guilty of latching on to a new, hot trend that promises to deliver all their hopes and dreams in only 5 seconds a day. When in reality, their time and energy would be much better spent focusing on the strategies that we already know work, for example good nutrition, physical training, etc. With so much information available at our fingertips, it's becoming easier than ever to mistake the forest for the trees. So, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And don't make the mistake of paralysis by analysis. When in doubt, take action on what you know will work and reevaluate your decision based on your results. Speaking of trivial matters. 50. You ate too many miracle berries and dark chocolate, and you drank too much red wine for your own good. Yes, I've read the headlines, and even some of the research studies about the health benefits of drinking red wine and how dark chocolate is good for your heart health, but here's the thing, all the miracle berries in the world won't help you lose weight and improve your health. And hopefully it doesn't take a miracle for you to figure this out and admit to yourself that it's the truth. So, stop buying into all the myths that the Fruit Loops like to throw around to make themselves money off of what the general public doesn't know or understand, and start doing the things that you know do actually work. 51. You give up at the tiniest hint of difficulty. Let's face it. Fat loss is hard work, especially when it is done healthfully and naturally, and thus, permanently. Anyone who tells you it's going to be easy is lying to you. So, roll your sleeves up and get your boots on, or your sneakers, because it's going to take some real work. And you've got to commit to yourself that you're going to do it ahead of time. It's certainly not going to be easy, but it is going to be worth it. When the pain of staying the same exceeds the pain of making changes in your life, that's when you'll be ready. You can either spend 90 minutes a day in pain, or spend 90 years of your life suffering. 52. You've tried to do it alone. If there is one thing that makes fat loss easier, it's when you don't have to do it alone. Oftentimes, one of the best things you can do is find a support system to keep you on track and hold you up when the going gets tough. A training partner, or even just an accountability partner, can be just the help you need to see it through to the finish, and then some. But it doesn't have to be just one person. You can join a group, and the internet has made this infinitely easier with places like the Burn the Fat Inner Circle, where I'm a member and the training department manager, thriving with activity and thousands of people supporting each other in their fat loss goals. It's certainly not easy to lose fat, but it's much easier with help. 53. Your sweet tooth, or other food craving, addiction, gets the best of you at all the wrong times. Sometimes, All it takes is for one unexpected treat or snack to push you over the edge and into a calorie surplus. A surprising amount of snack foods and goodies are incredibly dense in calories, and just a few bites can undermine an entire day of planned meals. So, anticipate the unexpected and come up with a plan for how to deal with it, for example complete avoidance, self-control, calculated indulgences, etc. 54. You followed a low-carb diet for far too long. A low-carb diet can be a great short-term solution for fat loss, especially to break through a plateau. But for most people, going on a low-carb diet for extended periods of time isn't a good idea, especially extremely low-carb diets. It all comes down to your individual carbohydrate tolerance, aka carb sensitivity. Some people do much better on high-carb diets, and others do better on low-carb diets. So, what's most important is figuring out your level of carb tolerance and then focusing on meeting your individual needs by eating complex carbs as the primary source. Save the low-carb dieting for the wannabes or for those times when you need to push through a fat loss plateau. 55. You never identified your body type to begin with. Believe it or not, but there are great variations between people of different body types, and it directly affects how you lose weight. Naturally, understanding what type of body you have will help you to figure out the best course of action for fat loss. So, if the terms ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph are completely foreign to you, and you're not sure which one, or ones, that you are, then be sure to do a little research to figure it out for yourself and adjust your plan accordingly. 56. You thought spending money on supplements, diet pills, or fat burners would cure your problem. Wouldn't it be nice if we could take a pill that would enhance everything about our lives? Well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but life doesn't exactly work like that. I know, the truth hurts. But the great thing about the truth is that it's always true. So, repeat after me: I cannot buy better health. I cannot buy better fitness. I cannot buy fat loss. Thank you. Carry on. 57. You thought starving and depriving yourself was the only way to lose weight. You don't have to eat like a bird to lose fat, and eating too little can actually do more harm than good by weakening your metabolism and sabotaging your long-term progress. The key is finding a happy medium by using a conservative calorie deficit. For most people, that's between 10 to 30% below your baseline calorie needs. If you push beyond that 30% deficit point, then you increase the risk of having your body enter starvation mode and kick in all sorts of health and fat loss hindering survival processes. 58. You thought you had to eat healthy foods and deprive yourself of tasty and delicious food in order to lose weight. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but you absolutely don't need to deprive yourself of the good stuff in order to eat well and lose fat. What is usually the case is that you simply don't know how to eat foods that are not only healthy and nutritious, but also delicious. There's a learning curve involved with preparing any new type of food, and those that want to not just eat good food, but enjoy good food will have to learn how to cook delicious and nutritious meals. Like anything worth having, it just takes time and practice. And when trying to decide whether or not to eat a slice of cake, or just have a beer with the guys, etc., just remember that nothing tastes as good as being lean feels. 59. You made excuses that you know aren't true. There is no shortage of excuses out there, but the truth is that you are not too old, too young, too fat, too injured, too sick, too far gone, or too anything else. People have a knack for overcoming incredible amounts of adversity to achieve something that is important to them, and the truth is that most people have it much harder than we do. I can virtually guarantee that someone older / fatter / weaker / etc. than you has achieved the exact same goal you have, and if they can do it, then you can, too. Everyone has excuses, but that doesn't stop some people from achieving their goals no matter what. Be one of those people. 60. You followed a generic, one-size-fits-all, cookie-cutter diet program that doesn't account for your individual needs. There is no such thing as a perfect diet for everybody. The perfect diet is always personalized to an individual's needs and goals. Therefore, whenever looking for a diet or nutrition program to follow, it must be customizable to an individual's needs and goals. In the same breath, stay away from diet programs that espouse dogmatic policies and uphold restrictive rules about eating, telling you to only eat certain foods and not others, etc. Your fat loss program should not limit or constrain you. It should liberate you and provide a way to achieve your goals in the way you want to achieve them. Your individual preferences are also important. I mean, seriously. Who wants to eat the same stuff all the time, especially when it's not the things you'd like to be eating? 61. When you failed or hit a plateau in the past, you gave in and gave up. Nothing works forever, not even the best, most customized fat loss program will work forever because that's not the way the human body works. We eventually adapt, and therefore, plateau is inevitable. Change is the only constant we can hold on to. The key is to never give up, and just keep going, no matter what. So next time you hit a plateau, or a particularly difficult time, instead of giving up, reevaluate your plan and your past results, start over based on the feedback you've received, and get right back onto the wagon. You've only truly failed if you give up. This next point will help prevent that. 62. Bonus, you stopped believing in yourself. Now, stay with me here because this isn't just some positive thinking mumbo-jumbo. And I know. I only promised 25 tips, but this one is so important, I just couldn't leave it out. In order to enact positive change in your life, you must believe in yourself. And not just believe in your general abilities as a human being, but believe that you can do it, and will do it. Yes, you. Right now, even this very moment, you have the power to alter the course of your life and change your destiny. I'll quote two men whom I admire to get this final point across. 63. Your hormones aren't balanced. If you are fatigued, suffer from PMS, experience irregular menstrual cycles, find it hard to lose weight, feel depressed or anxious, you may have a hormonal imbalance. Best to see a nutritionist or doctor who can support you and suggest certain tests that will confirm this so you can take appropriate action. 64. You're not getting enough vitamin D. A huge number of the population have low vitamin D, which is associated with weight gain and several metabolic processes. If you spend much of your life indoors, get your vitamin D checked with your doctor. 65. You're exercising, but not in a way that's benefiting your body. You are either exercising too much or you need to mix it up a bit and give the body a bit of a shock. Funnily enough, most people I see who overexercise tend to put on weight easily, enjoy a variety of workout techniques, weight training, Pilates, yoga and interval training. Quick and hard bursts are good. And weight training is very helpful to raise your metabolism. 66. Your digestion and absorption is not optimal. You are not what you eat, you are what you digest and absorb. Our gut health will determine our overall well-being. The bacteria that lies in our gut helps us to fight disease, process our food, make nutrients and make hormones etc. 67. You're sitting on your ass all day. You're not moving your body enough throughout the day, and your body does not like this. I understand some of you have office jobs and are tied to your desk, but is it possible to go for a few minutes stroll every hour? Or walk 20 minutes to grab lunch? 68. You're eating too much. I'd love to be able to say you can eat as much healthy food as you like, but unfortunately this is just not the case. The body cannot cope with a lot of food at once. It's vital to put good portions on your plate. I usually say, 1/4 of the plate should be protein, 1/4 carbohydrate and 1/2 veggies. Fill that plate with your greens, my love, and eat 5 to 6 small meals a day. We must learn to listen to our bodies when it's full and to stop eating. We all need to work on this. 69. You're not chewing your food. Chewing your food until it's liquid will really help with weight loss and better digestive performance. 70. You're stressed and not finding balance in your days. Stress can impact your weight in a number of ways. Long-term stress equals high cortisol, which is linked to blood sugar imbalance and weight gain around the midsection. 71. You're not sleeping enough. Sleep equals repair. When your body gets enough rest, it's able to perform. 72. You're a fad dieter. This is not way of life. I often ask people, are you weight conscious or health conscious? They're very different mentalities that foster very different choices. 73. You're eating out too much and not cooking at home. Trust me, you just don't know what that restaurant is using to cook your food. Assume they're using the worst vegetable oils, heavy amounts of butter and oil, and poor quality produce. Unless you're dining at a place that claims healthy cooking and uses healthy produce, learn to love your kitchen. 74. You're not adding protein to your plate. Protein is the satiety macronutrient that helps us to balance out blood sugars and therefore helps to control our weight. 75. You're scared of good fats. Don't be. Good fats are so important to your brain and for making hormones. So you can imagine why many of those who suffer from hormonal imbalances usually eat a low-fat diet, and your heart. The body actually uses the good fats and they will help to lower your LDL cholesterol. 76. Your liver is sluggish and you need a good cleanse. If you're feeling low, tired, and moody and your diet contains alcohol, coffee and sugar, you need to give your body a break. When your liver is sluggish, it struggles to process substances/toxins/hormones efficiently, and this leads to toxic buildup, and this will inevitably cause weight gain.